Hi, everyone. It's really great to be here. It's really great to be able to wave to those online who are watching us through the camera. So I actually need a clicker or something. Okay. Thanks a lot for the introduction. Not going to be a lecture, to be honest with you, rather a quick story about a green initiative that actually the UX team at VMware discovered and launched, right? There we are, and we're working. So I'm going to start with a quick intro, and I'm going to set the stage with some context and some more information, looking at the agenda because I'm not quite sure, do a little bit of a deep dive in what the design process looked like, and not being busy, we'll share a little bit on the impact, what we are planning for next, and last but not the least, I'll really touch on the takeaways, and if we have time, probably I can take some questions. So again, my name is Kosta. I'm here on behalf of my team today at VMware. I'm in charge with the VMware Cloud Management portfolio, and I'm going to be talking about the VMware Sustainability Green Score today. So setting the stage, the theme of the event, UX Sofia this year is well-being, and still I'm going to be talking about the sustainability. And I really want to share with you real quick about sustainability, right? Like usually when we talk about sustainability, we really mean whatever we're doing right now should not be in the way for the future generation to be able to do the same, right? Like don't break what you have today so that the next generations will be able to use it as well. So we usually discuss the three key pillars and main pillars for sustainability, which is the 3 Ps as some refer to them, the people, the planet, and the profit, right? So this is the sustainability pillars, and I really want to give you some well-being examples for each of those pillars so that it will make more sense for you. So speaking of people, it really has to do with the social well-being, right? Like our communities, where we live, the justice, how engaged are we with our communities, what surrounds us as human beings, as a community. Speaking of our planet, of course, environmental well-being is utmost important. It has to do with the clean air, clean waters, the biodiversity, again, everything which surrounds us. And then last but not the least, the profit has to do with the economic well-being. There is such thing as economic well-being, right? Like long-term stability, green jobs. Everybody here, I'm sure, is happy to get to be paid and be well, right, with that. So some people without culture to that, but here's a really good quote that I wanted to share with you. Taking a step back, we can really talk about the global well-being, right? Adopting sustainable practices actually touches on well-being at many different levels and in many different dimensions. So those are really interconnected. Those are really tightly interconnected. And I had another slide, but yeah, let's go with the context and the problem definition. So what is the business for what I'm actually talking about right now, the VMware Digital Green Score, right? Coming from VMware, what is VMware famous with? Like, how many of you are even aware like what VMware does? What is it? We can... Virtualization, exactly. VM stands for the virtual machines, right? Like we used to have those desktop devices beneath our desks. These days, thanks to VMware and the original idea that the original founders came up with, is really virtualizations. Those virtual machines coming together actually form virtual clusters of machines, right? Like many different machines coming together. Those clusters of virtual machines live in those virtual data centers that they form, like even greater amount of VMs coming together in virtual, as we call them, software-defined data centers, which we ship in the cloud, but believe it or not, everything which is in the cloud today actually lives on the ground. It actually lives in physical data centers. And I don't know how many of you have been in a digital data center. I'm going to show it to you in just a little, but one thing that I wanted to mention here is that the cloud as an industry right now consumes so much power that it already outperforms industries such as aviation, shipping, even food production, right? So it's actually huge in terms of carbon footprint. Some analysts, I was just reading the other day, basically discuss even as we speak, growing demand for data centers, like 10% a year. By 2030, this will be something like 4 to 5% of the global power consumption. So you can imagine the massive scale of our digital economy, to say so. Everything digital that we do, like there are a lot of products, there are a lot of services that we ship. Everything digital lives in a data center and consumes a lot of power, which leaves a lot of footprint, right? So this is what a data center looks like. I think this is one of the Amazon data centers, but I don't know how many of you have ever been in a data center, like a massive piece like this one here. This is what it looks like on the inside, right? It's really beautiful. This one's beautiful. I've seen worse. But this one, being as beautiful, actually consumes a lot of power. This one consumes a lot of power. This one consumes a lot of power to cool, to process all the requests, and really maintain the availability of all the digital services and products that we host here, right? So 75% of the organizations by 2030 will actually, organizations and leaders are already thinking, how do we reduce that? How do we reduce, really pragmatically, the cost, the money that we pay for this power that's being consumed there? How do we pay our bill for, for Amazon, for Google Cloud, for Azure, Microsoft, so for the big cloud servers? So this is the demand, and these are the people that I just mentioned. These are the people, like the C-level executives, people who are paying the bills, right? Like every month, the CIO sees the bill from the data center, is like, all right, this is massive already, what should we do about it? Virtual infrastructure administrators, these are the people who deal with those virtual machines. This is your digital infrastructure that is being hosted there on this data center. You want to make sure your application, your service is up and running operational. These are the guys who make sure that things are running, but also these are the guys who really power the infrastructure, who scale and expand the infrastructure so that it consumes more and generates more bills for the C-level people to pay. And then last but not the least is the sustainability officers, right? So this is a relatively new role. More and more organizations have such a role. Like even the other day I did a LinkedIn search. It turns out that there are a lot of actually C-level roles for people who are looking after sustainability. In big corporations, banks, not necessarily digital businesses, right? Like traditional banks, or there was another car manufacturer or something like this. So sustainability officers, it is a big thing already for the business. This is what the business case looks like for the Green Score. Again, really highlighting the growing demand for digital infrastructure carbon footprint management, or how do we manage all that? How are we in control in what we spend and what is the carbon footprint that we leave behind, right? Existing tools, even in the past, today as well, I'm going to touch on this a little bit in just a few slides, but the competition with existing sustainability monitoring tools really focuses on high-level, rather basic carbon emission and power consumption metrics only. So those are just static reactive metrics, which are, for all of you who design dashboards and metrics and data visualization and stuff, know that this is already in the past, so it's kind of like reactive, right? Like you see something that just happened, maybe near live mode, but still, it's already in the past. And then last but not the least, as much as we care for our customers' business, that actually keeps us at a healthy state with our business, which is also healthy for the people who work for the company, as well as for the communities that we serve. Again, taking a step back, thinking of the global well-being, right? So it's really a win-win situation. Now, speaking of the win-win situation, the VMware Green Score, I really want to share with you some history behind it, right? Like, here's a great timeline that I came up with. Okay, I had some cool animations here, but I guess we have to catch up with time and stuff. So back in 2015 is when the UX teams at VMware started hearing from our customers that people ask for such thing as sustainability. Hey, it's great that you virtualize things. It's great that you actually provide me with ways to control my infrastructure and all the stuff that you do, but can we do something about this cost that I'm paying? Because I see a lot of the virtual machines that I'm paying for, I'm not actually using them, right? Like, can we see some data? Can we see some metrics? And can we be in control somehow? In 2016, we were like, sure, you can. Here's the carbon metrics for you. So with those machines that you're paying for and are not really running, you're actually leaving some carbon footprint. So here's some carbon metrics so that you know that this is happening, and it's bad for the planet, it's bad for your bill. It's kind of like, you want to take a look at this. The first dashboards were shipped as part of the products in 2019. So as you can see, back in the days from almost 10 years ago, things were moving a little bit slower, right? Like sustainability was not as big as it is today, especially when it comes to the digital thing, right? Like everybody was thinking, hey, I'm gonna have a digital product, I'm gonna ship it in a digital cloud service. It's cool, right? Like I'm super green, it's not like I'm burning coal or, you know, do whatever is it like bad for the environment. But with people realizing all this together with the bills that are coming from the data centers, in 2021, actually, we've introduced the sustainability section as an in-product placement where we actually share contextual information with our customers, educating them on what is really sustainability, what the metrics, those carbon metrics that we introduced in 2016, what those metrics really are all about and how that contributes to the bill that you pay in the end, right? Like really trying to contextually help people be on top of those metrics. And then in the end of 2022, some people will say 2023, but for the UX team, it's really 2022, we've introduced the green score. There are two more items that I really want to mention here. As of 2018, VMware is a carbon neutral company. As of 2019, VMware, for its digital business, uses nothing but reusable energy. So don't just take our word for it, because we lead by example as well. And then this is what the first dashboard looked like. Not the best setup to display UI here, but anyways, it's what it looked like back in 2021. This is what the educational, I see it. I hope that people on the back can see it as well, and people online. But yeah, there was some text and some information and icon. It's beautiful. It's really great design so that people can understand what's cooking. Naturally, the team started. There was a really great session earlier today on journey mapping and stuff. I really enjoyed it, but the team did something similar. What is the job to be done here? Like, what is it that people are trying to solve? Or, you know, to the job to be done definition, what is it that people hire our products to help them with? What are they trying to do? How can we be helping them, right? Typical journey mapping exercise to get started with some design ideation, some assumptions, and so on and so forth. This is the low fidelity prototype. Again, hope that you can see it. It's really low fidelity, so it doesn't really matter. But the important thing that I want to highlight here is that this piece was co-created by the UX team in partnership with our stakeholder communities, product management, engineering, technical account management, sales engineering, you know, not just UX folks, not just people who are in charge with the experience, right? Like we wanted to take input from the business as well. We really wanted to what is the word that I'm looking for? To anyways, to touch base with the boots on the ground, like with the people who are spending their time with our customers, on our customer side, to really, through them, understand what's really important for our customers, right? So low fidelity prototypes, really the green score. One thing that I really want to mention here is that to make sure that you all understand that the VMware green score is just one metric. It's much easier, especially for the C-level people, to really look at one metric only, right? Kind of like the health, right? Like when you go to the doctor, you're like, hey, doc, I don't feel good, right? Like it's general, I don't feel good. Then the doctor might start asking you about the different metrics of your body. But what do you mean you don't good? Like, let's see your temperature, let's see your blood pressure, and so on and so forth. So similarly, the digital green score is one metric which really helps organizations be on top of their carbon footprint in general, and you know, the money that they spend there, not just the money that they spend, but also the impact that they're making to the environment and to their data center bill. But it's really formed through different metrics that we capture from the digital infrastructure, combine and put together to form this index, to say so, right? So it has to do with workload efficiency or how efficient your code is, to say so, right? Like a really good example to those of you who can code, you can do, let's say, you can ship a digital service that requires a number of different API calls in order to display some information, or you can do something similar with just one call. That actually saves a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of energy going back and forth to the servers to ask for the data and so on and so forth. Virtualization, resource utilization. Resources utilization is something that I already touched on just a little bit. So you have a virtual infrastructure, you have powered 10 virtual machines, but you're actually using one. Well, the other 9 still consume some power and still leave some digital footprint, right? Sorry, some carbon footprint. Digital, carbon, yeah, it all works together. Power source, really important as well. Not a lot of people were actually interested to understand this massive data center that I just showed you. It's powered somehow, right? But where the power comes from. Is this a coal, electricity thing that produces the power? Is this an atom, how is it called in English? Atomic, nuclear power, exactly, thank you. So this is really important. What is the nature of the power source? Is this renewable energy only? Because there are such things already. So this is how the green score is being formed, and the UX team spent a lot of time with the low fidelity prototypes in order to validate their assumptions, meet with a lot of internal customers to begin with. By internal customers, I really mean those communities that I already mentioned, like salespeople, engineering people, product management people, technical account management, or subject matter experts people, even support folks, right? Like people who know our customers and can actually try to walk in their shoes and tell us, hey, this actually looks good. This will be helping a lot my customers, or this is what I've been hearing. And then external customers, or just customers, right? Like we just call them customers. During global events like the VMware Global Conference, where we do a lot of design studios, we meet a lot of customers of ours, a lot of partners also who integrate our products, and there we validate our assumptions. We show them beautiful designs. Hey, this is what we're planning to ship with the product that you use. You think you're gonna use it? You think you're gonna like it? Is there anything more? Is there anything less? That really helped us refine a lot what the UX team started with. So again, my animation's not really working here. UI is great, but these are some iterations of the high fidelity prototypes based on feedback that we've been hearing from customers. Because sustainability, especially those metrics that we are shipping, are not easy to understand, especially for people who are not really into the topic. So we really wanted to make sure that whatever we display is something that people can digest, can really understand. So this is what the product or the sustainability dashboard looks like today. This is actually a video which is not really playing, so anyways. So it looks cool. It looks really good. So this is a dashboard that shows a lot of metrics, but the important thing here that I really wanted to highlight is there are things that the UX team really was focused around. Like number one, the consistent structure for metric consumption with clear visual correlation, or in other words, we really wanted to make sure that whatever data we display on those dashboards is really presented in a consistent way, right? That reduces the learning curve, that makes it easier for people to understand, that makes it easier for people to even visually correlate the data, right? Like the digital score is going down, something's happening, and you want to know where this is coming from, like which of the other metrics that forms the digital green score really affects the score. So what you can be doing about is what the third item really speaks of. We really want it, and we really want to make sure that we provide actionable next steps. So these are the metrics that we show you, but this is what we recommend you do about it, right? So actually, I will continue talking about this in the next section with what we are planning for right now and what is the impact that we're making. So again, actionable insights, recommendations, targets, goals. So it's not a reactive dashboard that you look at and really understand what happened, but it's really about, hey, these are the metrics that we see. This is what you can be doing to improve those metrics. This is how those metrics affect something else that you're looking at. Because having a metric like this is, how to say, it enables people to combine that metric with all the rest of the business metrics that everybody's looking at. Like, for example, how much profit am I making? Is whatever I'm running available, up and running? All the different metrics that we naturally look at and display on dashboards and business individuals look at, and so on and so forth. So putting the green score together with all that makes a lot of sense because, again, things are interconnected. So we really wanted to make sure that we have recommendation, targets, and actionable insights, something that people can see based on our expertise. Hey, we see a lot of virtual machines that you're not using, your green score is going down. Our recommendation is go take a look at this. Consult your virtual infrastructure administrators and maybe have a look at this, right? Like, why do you need it? There's too much carbon footprint that you're leaving behind. So we're not just busy doing stuff, right? The UX team is not just busy, and there's some impact that I really wanted to share with you today. This is a screenshot from, I think, one of the last big company meetings for VMware, where this beautiful timeline shows 25 years of impact for the company. And as you can see, hope you can see it, 2023, the mark says the green score feature introduced as part of the VMware Audio Operations product. So this is one of the products that I'm in charge with. This is a product for cloud management, right? Like you have your cloud accounts with all the stuff that I keep mentioning VMs and so on and so forth. So this product actually helps those virtual infrastructure administrators manage those accounts and be in control and everything. So this is where we introduced the green score. Apparently, it's a huge impact for the company, so that VMware joined the European Green Digital Coalition this year. So this is a massive achievement for the business because it opens up a lot of business opportunities with nothing but green businesses across Europe to begin with. There are such initiatives on a global scale as well. This is what the competition already looks like. Those are screenshots from most recent developments. Actually, I don't even know why animations do not work, but I had a few other screenshots here. This is from IBM. I have some from Datadog, Dynatrace. Some of you might be familiar with those companies, but long story short, those are companies and organizations shipping competitive products for cloud management. So they do acknowledge that sustainability is a thing already, so they do ship their sustainability dashboards already as of this year as well. Those are just introduced, but again, these are still, we love it to see the first test, still these are static metrics to only show high-level basic carbon emissions and power consumption, which is a great start. This is where we started with as well. Takeaways and questions. If you don't measure it, you can improve it. Peter Drucker said that. I really like that. No animations here intentionally, because I think these three are equally important. Number one is, and these are the seeds that I really want to plant in your minds, because you are the people in charge with the delightful experience that you ship through the products and your services, over to your customers. So foster a culture of well-being and sustainability. This is really important. I mean, within the design teams. In the end of the day, if it wasn't the culture, the UX team would have never, heard the feedback from our customers and thought about, hey, can we be doing something about what our customers are talking, sustainability, bills for data centers, whatnot. So this culture really helps, foster this mindset and really develop this mindset within the teams that you're part of or run and lead and so on and so forth. Know your customers, know their business, know what your customers do, how they do it. It was a great session a minute ago about understanding the grandma mode of the smart home thingy that was just previously displayed. So knowing the products, knowing the customer needs really helps UX to be proactive, right? So instead of reactingly waiting to understand hey, this is what our customers might need and so on and so forth, like UX being proactive really solves a lot, and people really appreciate that. So try and be ahead in the game, really understanding what customers, a quote from actually the CIO at VMware, leaders cannot drive if they're only looking in the review mirror, right? So you want to be ahead in the game and you want to know what customers are planning for, not what they need today. Last but not the least, UX, the way we understand it, UX is not an isolated silo, right? Like UX is not, hey, we're from the UX team, we're in charge of the experience, so we know it best. You developers, you product managers, just sit down, shut up, we know it, right? Actually, UX needs to connect the dots and really form fruitful partnership. If it wasn't the product managers, the engineers, and all the other people that I mentioned outside of the UX team that we consulted with, this green score was never going to be prioritized by the business authorities, was never going to be implemented, was never going to be shipped, right? So forming fruitful partnership with the relevant stakeholder community is really, really important for UX to be successful. Shout out to the team. As you can see, people ideate in restaurants, hotels, all over the place, but these are some of the people who've actually worked on the green digital, green sustainability score. Really wanted to highlight that. And with that, I really want to thank you for the applause.